So game one of the Eastern Conference Finals start tomorrow, and I thought we should do a series preview. Now for the conference finals, I probably might go in more in depth with each game, like more game reviews and stuff like that. But I thought the Eastern Conference Finals start tomorrow, which I don't know about anyone else, but I know for a fact for me, I don't like that. And I like playoff hockey. Don't get me wrong, but it's tiring. No breaks. Like, kidding me? Like, the second round will end tonight, and right away we go to the Eastern Conference. Like, no break, a day of no hockey. It's like we're just gonna rush through these playoffs. It's like, it's really grueling because it's like I just want to break off. Freak and stuff, but it doesn't seem it's gonna happen. It might hopefully happen for the finals. Sorry, hopefully it happens for the finals because it's more big. But I thought we should go right through the Eastern Conference. So Carolina Hurricanes and the Boston Bruins. Now I forgot to include who they face and who they beat. Carolina, they beat the Capitals, former Stanley Cup champs, in 7. And then they beat the defensive New York Islanders. Boston, they beat Toronto in 7, and then they beat Columbus in 6. So they both had a 7-game series, and both in the first round. Records, we'll start with Carolina. Carolina, they're 8-3 in total because of the sweep. At home, they are 5-0 at home, so they have not lost a game in Carolina yet. On the road, they're 3-3. But they won their last 3 on the road. They won game 7 and then they won game 1 and 2. So they won 3 straight on the road. Goals for, they have scored 34 goals. They have allowed 25. Power play, 10.5% on the power play. Penalty kill is a 75. Face-off win percentage, it is important. Face-offs get goals, 50% if it's in the offensive zone. And then points, top 5 for each offensive players, defense, 3 defensemen, and goaltending. Top 5, Tara Finance starts at top 5, 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points on the offense. Fogle, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points. Aho, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. And Stahl, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. Justin Williams, 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points. Defensively, Slavin, 11 assists. He leads Carolina. Hamilton has 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. Falk has a goal, 5 assists, 6 points. So goaltending, Mrazek, he is 5-3 in these playoffs with a .913 save percentage and a 2.22 goals against average. 2 shutouts, while McElhinney, he is 3-0, .947 save percentage, and a 156 goals against average, no shutouts. So that's Carolina. Decent stats, at home, 5-0, that's pretty good. Offensively, they're getting it done. They've only played 11 games, and 4 guys have 9 points on offense, and, Slavin's point per game for you on defense. He stepped up nicely. Over on the Boston side of things, their record, they are 8-5 at home. They're 4-3 at home. On the road, they are 4-2. They have scored 40 goals and only allowed 28. Power play at 28.6. Penalty kill 83.8. I'll note this, they have the best special teams now, considering now Dallas is now out. Dallas was 2nd in power play. They had the best penalty kill at 94. It probably went up because they went 2 for 2 last night. Face-off win percentage 53.1. Top offensive players, Marchand, 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points. Pasternak, 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points. Krejci, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points. Bergeron, 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points. And Charlie Coyle, 5 goals, 3 assists, and 8 points as well. Over on defense, Torrey Krug, a goal, 7 assists, 8 points. McAvoy, a goal, 5 assists, 6 points. Grzelcyk, a goal, 4 assists, 5 points. And Tuukka Rask, Goaltending, Tuukka Rask, he is 8-5 this playoffs. He has a .938 save percentage, and a .202 goals against with one shutout, which was Game 6 against Columbus. So there's your stats. They're pretty darn close. Records nearly close. Both 8 wins. Obviously, both 8 wins. 2 losses extra for Boston. 2 more games for Boston. At home, Carolina seems to be better at home. 5-0 to Boston 4-3. But on the road, Carolina is 3-3. Boston is 4-2. So even though if Boston is 4-3 at home, it's okay. It could be better. Obviously, it could be better, but it's okay. But considering Carolina is 3-3 on the road, that might just be enough. But again, Carolina has won 3 straight. And what hurts Carolina, they're 5-0 at home. They're undefeated at home, but Boston is 4-2 on the road, so they are a good road team. They won twice in Toronto, twice in Columbus, and they were big games. Game 6 against Toronto, serious that they could have lost. They survived the Game 6. Right? And then in Columbus, Game 6, they win the series. Goals for Boston is more offense. Not surprising. But again, 2 extra games. Carolina could have 40. I don't think they do, but they could. Goals against, Carolina is the better defensive team. Again, I said this when I just mentioned it. Boston owns the special teams everywhere so far. Face-offs, just about for Boston. And so there's that. Here's what I say. Offensively, I give it to Boston. Defense, I give it to Carolina. Goaltending, Rask has played good. I can't deny it, but Mrazek and McElhinney have done well too. McElhinney, .947 and .156 in 3 games. That's really not bad. If he plays like that, that's good. My question for Carolina is, who do you go with? Are you gonna go back with Mrazek, or are you just gonna roll with McElhinney? Because, in my opinion, I go with Mrazek. I think he is the better goalie, but unless you have no option, then go with McElhinney. But at the same time, if Mrazek is able to play, but Mrazek has been on a roll, do you just stick with the hot hand and go with it, or do you go back to the old ways? Because, in my opinion, McElhinney, as well as he has played good, but look at the team he's played, the Islanders, and no disrespect to the Islanders. To me, it's just the fact that they're not really the offensive scoring team compared to Boston. So I feel like Game 1, it could be a blowout. I'm not saying it will, but it could. Could it be? Yeah. Connections and everything. One connection that I just really find interesting that does stand out is Dougie Hamilton, former Boston Bruin who went to Calgary, who got to Calgary, then got now as Carolina. I think that's gonna be really interesting to see how that goes. Will there really be? He could say some secrets and be like, "Oh, this is what they like to do," but it's been years. This year, October 30th was the first time they met. They played 3 times against each other. Boston won 3-2 at Carolina. December 23rd, Carolina won 5-3 at Carolina. And in the latest meeting, March 5th, Boston won 4-3 at Boston. So Boston has won 2 of the 3 games, one in each, one at home, one on the road. Scoring is even, 10-10 apiece, so they scored evenly. It's close. It's really close. Playoff history. I thought this was cool when I did this. 1999 was the first time these two met. Carolina was the 3rd seed. Boston was the 6th seed. Boston took Carolina in 6 games in the first round. 10 years later, in 2009, Boston the 1st seed, Carolina the 6th seed. Carolina took out Boston in 7. The Scott Walker Game 7 road overtime goal to send Carolina to the Eastern Conference Finals. That was in round 2. And then another 10 years later, they face off again. And it's funny, because it's like, look at, every time, 10 years, they played. 1999, they played. 10 years later, in 2009, they play. 10 years later, in 2019, they play. And what's funnier, it's a different round. The first time it's round 1, second time round 2, third time it's in the Eastern Conference Finals. Honestly, the next time they play, it can't be in the Stanley Cup Finals unless they change playoff format where it's not 1-8, it's 1-16. But I don't think they will. Boston is 7-6 in playoff history against them. Carolina's 6-7. Big notable outs. Charlie McAvoy obviously suspended for Game 1. I think it was the right call. He deserved a suspension for the hit. I think 1 game is reasonable. So he was out for Game 1, and advantages. We'll talk about that next. Advantages. McAvoy being out is huge for Carolina. Boston loses one of their top 4. Carolina has to take that advantage. Boston, though, is still in game mode. They had just played 3 nights ago, so they're not rusty like Carolina might be. Carolina hasn't played in a week. That could bite back. Could bite back for the Islanders. So Boston has that. They got 2 days off and they get right back to work. Carolina's style is an advantage for them because they frustrate teams. The Islanders just couldn't score. 5 goals in 4 games, and 2 of them wasn't yours. Carolina helped you there. Helped you with 2 of them. So you only scored 3 goals in 4 games for the Islanders. So Carolina can shut you down, and they could shut Boston down. But Boston experience, and I said this with the Columbus series. I picked Columbus, but I said the only thing that scares me if I'm Columbus against Boston, the only thing I'm scared is their experience. They won the cup 8 years ago. They went in the finals 5 years ago or 6 years ago. So they know what it's like. They've been in the playoffs every year, I think, except for 2 years. So they know what it's like. They're an older team, more experience. That's an advantage for them. And last, for advantage for Carolina, their speed. I said this as well at Columbus. They have an advantage, and that's their speed against an old defensive team in Boston and just overall older team in Boston. Carolina could take that advantage and use it against them. It's going to be close. Straight out, this is a tough series to call. Every series is always tough. My initial thought, without looking at any of these stats, was Boston. Because they're the better team this year. They got better from last year. Carolina's inexperienced. But they do have some experienced players like Justin Williams, who gets the nickname Mr. Game 7. So I thought, but like the stats, honestly, if I'm honestly looking at Boston stats wise, Boston has the better offense. Like if offensively, it goes Boston. But again, 2 extra games does help for that. But still, Boston is better offense. Defensively, I give it to Carolina. Special teams, Boston. I mean, they're outstanding in special teams. Young speed, Carolina. Goaltending, that's where it gets tough. Rask has played good, but you combine Mrazek and McElhinney, that's pretty good tandem for Carolina. And the underdog mentality. A lot of people are picking Boston. I get that. Home ice as well for Boston. I'm going with my gut here. It's not because I hate Boston. Look, I'm going to admit I am cheering for Carolina all the way because I don't want Boston to win another cup. It's only been 8 years. I don't want to see it again at Montreal fan. But all that aside, I am still going to go with the Carolina Hurricanes. The speed of their goaltending has been great. Their defense has been flawless. And I think it has an ability to frustrate Boston, get them to their limits. They do hit. They do have some players on that team that have experience. Like Stahl even has experience, and Williams. Right. Hamilton with Boston, he has experience. Right? So there are some guys on Carolina that has it. Boston has more. I talked about this when I was watching Dallas St. Louis. Fatigue. Now, Bishop stopped, 52 or 54 or 53 or 55. He was playing great, but eventually he's going to start to get tired and wear down. I think that might happen to Boston. I'm not saying it's going to, but I think it's a possibility. Overall, Boston is the clear favorite, and I definitely see this going to Boston. But I'm going to go with Carolina, and I'm going to say the Hurricanes in 6 or 7. But I'm going to go with 6, but I won't be surprised in 7. I'm going to go with 6. Because I feel like if Carolina has a chance to win the series at home in Game 6, that crowd and that building is going to be on fire. Well, not literally. But you know what I mean. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm taking Carolina. It's going to be tough, close, and hard, but I'm going to take the Carolina Hurricanes to win this series in 6. Wow, bad writing, huh? I'm taking Carolina in 6, and I think they will advance to their 3rd ever Stanley Cup Finals. We'll see. I think, and if that happens, I think they have a great chance to win it because they beat teams like Boston, the Islanders, and the Capitals. That's my prediction. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm wrong? Because I've been wrong a lot in these playoffs. I went like 2 for 8 in the first round. Right now, I'm 1 for 3 in the second round. So I've been wrong most of this playoffs, but I'm going to take Carolina in 6. Let me know what you guys think.